Thank you, everyone, for coming for this very exciting launch, Global Online Incorporation. This is the kind of stuff that libraries live for now. I mean, libraries are moving away from some of the traditional things. We'll still be keeping those, but everything like this is just really fantastic. And I want to thank everybody at the state, from the governor's office, Secretary of State, Annie Norman and her crew, for keeping us out there. I mean, these folks push us, and that's good. That is good, because we all want to be on, as I think, Rick, your term is the bleeding edge, not the leading edge. We want to be on the bleeding edge. So thank you all for coming. Again, welcome to the Wilmington Library. Also want to recognize and thank Carl Shaw, Janet Wurzel, Alta Porterfield. You guys make this inspiration space work. I mean, you know, the library has a little bit of part in it, but these are the folks that really make this work. So very happy for that. I think this is going to be really great. I'm looking forward to it, and all the different things that we can work with. We're going to have staff at every library. I think people have been alerted already. So virtually anybody can walk into a library and get to this service. That's what's so wonderful about it. They just don't have to come to an individual library. They can go to the library of their choice. So that is really a nice thing. So it is now my pleasure to introduce Rick Geisenberger from the Secretary of State's office.
Thank you, Larry. So, well, the pushing, the bleeding edge pushing, starts at the top. And we have a governor who's been an incredible supporter of partnerships among cabinet agencies, partnerships among local, among governments. And this is a partnership that we're going to be announcing today that really weds economic development efforts with the efforts of the Division of Corporations at promoting the corporate and legal services industry, and the work of the Division of Libraries in supporting libraries. This governor's been a great supporter in all three of those areas. In the area of making sure that information's available and accessible to entrepreneurs, he has pushed us to create a website called Business First Steps, which helps entrepreneurs access all kinds of information about how they can harness their idea, write a business plan, get their business licenses and incorporation, how to access financing. He's pushed us in the Division of Corporations to really promote the corporate and legal services industry, which we've been doing in the Secretary of State's office. This franchise has grown 38% under his leadership. We now have over 1.2 million legal entities incorporated in Delaware. We've grown this franchise to a $1.1 billion franchise for the state of Delaware, which is really incredible. So thank you, Governor. And this governor's been an incredible supporter of our libraries. I mean, we're standing in one of those libraries. There's been a record investment of $45 million by the state, which has been matched by about $55 million from local governments and local fundraising to expand 16 libraries in the state, or to renovate libraries, and one of them is this library right here. That's helped us to create these inspiration spaces and job center spaces that have literally helped tens of thousands of Delawareans, and particularly entrepreneurs and job seekers, get the sort of assistance they need to pursue what Annie likes to refer to as their Delaware dream. And all of that has been because of the leadership of our governor, Governor Jack Markell. So thank you, Governor.
Well, good morning, everybody. And that was a very generous introduction. I'm going to have you introduce me now instead of Jeff.
I'm talking about you later this afternoon.
Okay, all right. It is great to see everybody. And I want to start, Larry, thank you for hosting us and for the great work that you're doing here. And it turns out that this particular partnership, which we'll describe in a second, Rick talked about sort of cooperation, lots of different types of cooperation. In this case, within state government, this is actually amazing cooperation amongst 3 divisions within the Department of State. So Jeff Bullock is our Secretary of State, and all the nice things that Rick said about me really belong to Jeff, because he's done a fantastic job in terms of the, all the work around corporations and growing that franchise, but certainly pushing in terms of our investment in libraries. And we have invested more in libraries over the last 8 years than any administration ever. And people sometimes say, well, why? Since libraries don't really matter anymore. And in fact, libraries are busier than ever. I mean, and they more than ever are centers of our community. And it's just awesome. I love this space. I mean, you guys did a fantastic job with this renovation. And it's one thing to renovate a space, and it's beautiful, but it's even more exciting to see the use that people are making of it. And so I do want to thank Jeff for that. But within the Department of State, Andrea Tiniano runs something called Global Delaware. One of the things in this world that we've got to do more effectively is we've got to connect with the world, promoting exports, attracting foreign direct investment, and certainly around this issue regarding corporations. We want to make sure that as companies around the world, when they decide to come to the U.S., there should only be one choice, and that's to incorporate here in Delaware, and to more and more locate here in Delaware as well. And Andrea is doing a great job with that. Annie Norman runs our division of libraries, and I know the thing I love about Annie is, as proud as she is of all the investment that we've made in libraries, it's never enough for her. and she came in recently with a group of school librarians, and she said, okay, well, it's good you're investing in the public libraries, but you need to do a lot more over here too. And it is that kind of pushing, which Larry mentioned, which Annie is very, very good at. She may have a very nice smile, and she's very nice, but that only masks a backbone of steel. So and then the Division of Corporations, which is so important, and this particular announcement, which really is designed to facilitate and make it easier for Delaware entrepreneurs to start their own businesses. And we are such a center, the most important center by far in the country for foreign corporations. I mean, companies want to be associated with Delaware, and the beauty of this particular project is they've all put their heads together and said, okay, what is it with the private sector, and with a couple of our agents, and said, all right, what can we do to make it even easier for Delawareans who want to be entrepreneurs to start their businesses? And that's the solution that they have come up with. And I'm really grateful to them, because it really combines several things that I think ought to be passions of all of us. One is continuing to grow our incorporations business, which is so very important. The second is making dealing with government easier. And that's been a big area of focus for us. We're trying to reduce the friction. If anybody, there are lots of places you deal with government, whether it is getting your driver's license, and we've got there aren't too many governors around the country who can brag about their division of motor vehicles. I can, and I'm proud of them, because they've just made it so much easier to deal with that. Whether you're renting a cabin at one of our state parks, there are lots and lots of examples, and this one around sort of facilitating incorporation, I think, is another great one. And then the third piece is about promoting our spirit and culture for entrepreneurs. And there is, within walking distance, just a much, much stronger entrepreneurial ecosystem in Delaware than there was even a few years ago. Thanks to places like the Coin Loft and 1313 and the Mill. And it's one thing, and it's sort of, I look at it the same way as I think about the library. The space is beautiful, but a beautiful space without people working it and growing is sort of irrelevant. And that is the beauty of what's going on. There's so many, just on Friday, I visited one of our great entrepreneurs. He was with a big company. He said, okay, it's time for me to do my own thing, started his own company in the sort of the consumer credit space, and he's doing really well. He's got 28 employees within walking distance of here. And so what we're trying to do is just make it easier and easier for Delaware entrepreneurs who want to get started to actually start. And I think what you see here today is a great partnership. Also, we've got our representatives from the SBA, from the Small Business Development Center, Small Business and Technology Development Center, and so many others. And we're especially grateful to CT and Inc. Now for their partnership as well. So I think it's a great, a very exciting moment. It's not one of these really complicated things. This was actually pretty straightforward to say, what is it that we can do just a little bit better to help make the lives of our entrepreneurs just a little bit easier? So instead of them having to spend a lot of time waiting in line and filling out forms, they can do what they ought to be doing, which is figuring out how to grow their business. So that's what it's about. And I will say that as in just about everything that's great, these ideas don't start in the governor's office. They start out in the community. They start with our people in the Department of State, in this case, really listening to the entrepreneurial folks, to our registered agents, to the folks in libraries, and saying, how can we work together? So that's my message. Okay. I appreciate everybody being here. Help us spread the word. I think that's a really big part of it. You do these announcements sometimes, and it's a great announcement, but then like, what happens? And so in this case, while we're certainly going to do everything we can to promote it and to advertise it, the fact that you all are here to help us get the word out is really very valuable. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Andrea.
Yes.
Yes. And thank you for all you've done to make this happen.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you so much. I want to echo the Governor's thanks to my friends at CT and Inc. Now, and I want them to raise their hands. John Williams over there, Alan right there, John. I just want to let you know, for them, they didn't just take the service that they had and put a state of Delaware seal on there. They had to invest real resources and time to create something brand new, customized for Delawareans. And this was no small task. This did not happen overnight. This is more than a year in the making. And really, they worked with their programmers, they worked with the state, they worked with, everybody to make this happen. So I really just want to let them know how much we care and really share our thanks for what you've done for us. So thank you so much. I am a little curious. How many of you are starting a business or thinking about it and now going to do it? Good. Oh, that's just great. Fantastic. I'm thrilled. And I just want to make sure you all talk to our friends over here at Inc. Now, because there really is a golden ticket. And it's for you today to get started at no cost. They're picking up the state fees, everything. So this is your time. And I would also encourage you to really get to know these people because they are here in Delaware and they will support you. But that you will also be supported by the libraries and by the Department of State. But now you have a whole network behind you. So we just want to make sure, and tell your friends all over the state, go into their libraries, because Annie will probably tell you, and I don't want to steal her thunder, but there is training. There has been training on the librarian side too, the library side. So I'm now going to turn over to Annie Norman, Division of Libraries. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. First of all, thank you to Larry for hosting us today and for Renee and for your staff and the support. Thank you and congratulations to Andrea for her vision and for her partnership. When she first had the idea, she came to me. It was during a budget hearing, kind of tentatively. And I assume, like most new partners, she assumed that she was going to have to convince us. She was going to have to persuade us. But we say, sure, let's do it. And libraries support all subject areas, and we very much appreciate the partnerships with the experts in all these areas. You see just a few of them here in the window today, and many more. I also want to thank all the library staff in the state. As Andrea mentioned, they've had training available to them, and to the Inspiration Space staff here, Carl Shaw, Janet Wurtzel, and Alta Porterfield for their assistance with the public. Most of all, I want to thank and congratulate Governor Markell and Secretary Bullock for their support of libraries. They are both award-winning library supporters and with the General Assembly have achieved an awesome library legacy, and I want to honor that today. It's for the robust statewide library technology infrastructure and for the updates and expansions of library buildings, such as this one. A Delaware businesswoman once said to me that businesses would give their right arm to have the range of locations and the reach into the communities that libraries have. And we are using the power of that library's infrastructure with our many partners to help spark Delaware's innovation economy. Just a few examples. So when Governor Markell was state treasurer, we first partnered on financial literacy. And Ronnie Cohen, who's the executive director of the Delaware Financial Literacy Institute, she just recently said that we have taught more than 10,000 money school classes in libraries throughout the state. We recently announced a partnership with the Mexican consulate to provide elementary education in Spanish online, and that's made possible due to the library technologies in these expanded spaces. And today, thank you to Andrea and her business partners, we are helping Delawareans statewide to become entrepreneurs. We've only just begun to tap the potential and the power of this library's infrastructure. And we sincerely hope that the next administrations at all levels, the state, the county, and local, that they appreciate, support, and capitalize on the power of the library infrastructure that you've created to help Delawareans achieve their full potential and their versions of the Delaware dream. So congratulations and thank you to all, and best wishes to all the new Delaware entrepreneurs here today. Let's get started.